Pact.
Pact.
You met a kid named Maddox Maple. Tell us, how'd you come to meet this guy?
Actually, it was through Zach, my brother. I was living out in Cleveland, training at a gym up there, getting ready for. I was just an amateur fighter, trying to find my way to the pro ranks and become a world champion. So I was moving, out of my city and trying to go and further myself and better myself. So I kind of stayed out of the small town talk, but obviously staying with Zach. Zach was working in a coal mine in the area, so he was still around the small town talk. Knew everything that was going on, would keep me informed. Like, oh man, Johnny, dude, he's back in jail, or whatever.
Yeah,
so
for
he called
sure.
me up, we talking, and he said, hey man, you should hear about the Maddox family, the Maple family. And I was like, no, I didn't. And he explained it to me. It was the family, this 5-year-old was diagnosed with leukemia. Just like, it hit me just right in the feel goods because I have a sister the same age as Maddox, and it kind of just, just for whatever one has just first spoke about it, kind of just hit me right there without even knowing the family, knowing the child. And he said you should do like a benefit with your next fight. You should donate the tickets and sell shirts and get the town, kind of to back his fight. And then met the family after 2 weeks. He came back. He was able to have visitors after his first dose of chemo, and he was cleared to get home and just start the process of fighting this horrible disease. And so I come there and I see this little kid. I mean, he looks, just his whole world was 360, spun around and was going in for a bursted appendix. He thought.
Wow.
Next thing you know, he's got a trach and a port in his chest, and he's getting his first dose of chemo.
Jesus, dude.
So yeah, I look at the kid, and I'm just like, man, this kid, he had big, beautiful eyes. I mean, but I just tell he had that look. You can tell when you look at Mike when he fights, when you look at these other fighters that are great, when you see that look before battle, they have that glossed over look, like that determination, that focus. And I saw that in him. I was like, man, I just knew that. And I said it to the parents after I got to know him. Like I know this kid's gonna beat this disease. I can just tell he's a warrior. I can just I can just feel that. And meeting him that time and getting to stay with him, learned a story. We did the benefit, donations to his family, and just stayed in touch with him, like reaching out to them. He would come to all my fights. His goal was to walk me out to one of my fights. That's what he wanted to do, but he was never healthy enough. The chemo kept hurting his legs. He was in a wheelchair. Meeting him, and it was a 5-year battle, 5.5 years. We've known Maddox, and through his ups and downs and his days that he wanted to give up, I leaned on him with my training and fighting, trying to make it to the UFC, because billions of kids and people, fighters all across the world are trying. That's what they want to do, is become the UFC champion. And that was my goal, and Maddox's goal was just to walk me down to the octagon. That was his sole goal. I feel like he fought for that. So he kept fighting for it. I can't wait to walk you down.
You guys were accountable to each other.
Yeah, I remember getting signed to the UFC.
Yeah,
and bringing him there and seeing him there.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the UFC caught wind of our story and granted him to walk down to the octagon when I fought for my first world title. And I was like hand in hand with him. And I just felt invincible that time. Like I was like, nothing can stop this. This is meant to be. This is my night. I had like the most flawless performance. I was in the flow state, and just everything was lining up in my life. And so it was a great night. Not only because I won, but just because everyone was so happy, and we finally got to put the belt around his waist. And then next we're, after that, a lot of stuff happens. Fast paced after winning a world title, and we got approached about doing a book. I never thought that it was going to be something this big. I thought, I look at Maddox.
You were just doing something.
Yeah, just
that felt right.
Never
felt guided by spirit.
When I got offered about a book and the movie, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And then the reason why I want to do it and push forward, because I feel like his fight matters. His story needs to be shared. To how many people are affected by this horrible disease, that family members they've lost family members, or mothers, or brothers, or sons, or daughters through this disease. That this is a kid that was just 5 years old, can go through any of that. Yeah, with the power of believing in himself and having a purpose. Focusing on something like myself. Like my light at the end of the tunnel was being a world champion. That's what kept me, from that, getting hooked on drugs, from going down the wrong path, from just being a fuck up, was that being a world champion. Our worlds collide, our crash course, kind of like a pivotal time with me getting in a lot of bar fights and stabbed and all this stuff, and him going through chemo, find out he had cancer. We kind of met at that time with our low points and kind of just raised up all the way to the top, became the best in the world, world champions, and couldn't do without that kid.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
incredible.
How's he doing now?
He's great. He's 11 years old.
Amazing.
4 years in remission.
Yeah.
So it's his last year. August August 22nd will be his 5th year of mission. So
Wow.
I'm hoping to surprise him with a huge just I want to make it something just special for that little kid.